Juris Vodcast with Scott Pearce.
The U.S. House of Representatives just passed H.R. 3221, the Foreclosure Prevention Act. It's expected that the Senate will weigh in on the legislation, and President Bush is likely to sign the result. The country is likely to be worse off, but the price of doing nothing would be very high, too. Let's look at what this bill does. First, it gives the Treasury Secretary the temporary authority to buy the shares of the so-called GSEs, government-sponsored enterprises, Freddie and Fannie and the Federal Home Loan Banks. At the same time, it requires the GSEs to pay 4.2 basis points a year in tax for each $100 of new mortgages. H.R. 3221 establishes a single regulator for the GSEs, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and it authorizes a new mortgage guarantee plan. How much is this going to cost? The Congressional Budget Office says the bill will cost about $25 billion, but H.R. 3221 raises the federal debt ceiling by $800 billion. That gives us some idea. Buried in the fine print of H.R. 3221 is language that would require detailed information about all electronic transactions to be reported to the federal government. That means the government is going to collect data about every financial transaction you make that isn't in cash. Not that many days ago, FISA passed, allowing the government to collect vast amounts of personal information about you without a search warrant or probable cause. Now, H.R. 3221 will add all of your Visa and MasterCard and PayPal transactions to the file the government is keeping on you. Our financial system is in trouble. Personally, I agree with the critics of the Federal Reserve System. I think it's unconstitutional to have a privatized currency. That should be the job of Treasury, not the Federal Reserve. I agree that getting rid of the Federal Reserve is a vital part of true economic reform in this country. At the same time, I think it's a good idea for the government to take drastic action right now to avoid an irreparable financial collapse. There's no doubt that H.R. 3221 is drastic, but is it wise? Personally, it looks to me as if the federal government is trying to borrow its way out of debt. This bill is likely to leave us less financially secure than we were before, and certainly it will leave us less free.
Juris Vodcast is a production of Nuclear Podcasting. Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives.